everyone, in this video I'm going to show you exercises that we can use to alleviate numbness and tingling associated to a condition called Meralgia Paresthetica. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, I'm Sebastian with the locally world famous chiropractors in Costa Mesa, California. Now, Meralgia Paresthetica, I'll just show you the location and describe it a little bit so you know that you're on the right video. Meralgia Paresthetica is actually a condition where the nerves that come from the back, they actually become a bundle and then they end up exiting at some point to the skin layer, not over the skin but under the skin. They actually innervate part of the outer thigh right into here. As it goes through its path, it goes around and through things. And so when it's going around things, right around the crest of the hip here, a lot of times it can be compressed or irritated due to a blow to the hip or chronic compression to it. Something like using a belt that's too tight. A lot of police officers with their belt contact here actually becomes a little bit of an irritation. If you wear too tight clothes, too tight jeans, the belt that's too tight, or there's chronic compression in the area, a lot of times it can create this phenomena down here. It can be burning, stabbing, aching, but the most common presentation is numbness and tingling. It usually doesn't go down past the knee. If it does, then it's a different type of condition. That's the whole reason you should be evaluated in the first place, is to make sure you're actually treating the right condition. If you're looking to improve from this, you need to make sure you have the right diagnosis first. And these exercises are more specifically curated for a Meralgia Paresthetica type of case. Now, if you've been struggling with adding exercises to your program to make sure that you're recovering the right way and keeping strength and so on, sometimes people have like a temperamental aspect to the exercise, and there's not a big need for that. There's ways to get around it, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about right here in this video. Sometimes adding input first to the area or stimulating the area helps out to make it so certain exercises actually work better. So in this scenario, what I like to use is adding input. I like to slide the nerve, and then I like to load the leg. Okay, I'll show you all of what I like to use here. Keep in mind that if these don't work for you, that's okay. I'd love to say everybody's reason for their Meralgia Paresthetica is exactly the same. It's not. Sometimes people have other related parts, hip arthritis or hip impingement or an old injury of the knee or something like that. So there's other things that actually will curate which exercises work well for the person. So if you are having problems with it, don't get discouraged. You can always find something, and if you can't, we're right here for you. Before I show you the series that I want you to leave a comment in the comment section below and let me know what physical activity you're trying to get back to if you woke up and you didn't have this condition whatsoever. The reason I'm asking is because I want to make sure I'm making videos that you guys want to see. And the exercises I show and the remedies I show are based upon what you guys want to see. So please let me know, and if you like this video so far, please give a thumbs up, as it helps me know that you liked the content so far. Now, an easy way to put sensory input in the area or start by adding input is going to be something like this. It's a really popular tool. I'm not married to what type you use. I don't even care if you have one at all. Like, the purpose is it percusses, and you can do the same thing by just going like this or having someone kind of lightly punch you or just tap you and so on. But if you do have something like this, let me show you how to use it. So you're just going to get this baby going, and you're going to find the area that the lateral femoral cutaneous nerve innervates, which is the side, almost side front part of the thigh. Notice that I'm just moving it around and I'm not really screaming, so it's really not like I'm doing a whole lot, and that's okay. What we're doing is we're trying to trick the nervous system to allow us to put more load and work around movements that were past painful. It's pretty common that when people use something like this, that they feel better for a period of time and things that bothered them no longer bother them anymore. But the problem is it comes back. And that's kind of the danger of just saying that this is going to solve your problems, because it won't. This is just a tool or a means to an end to get to the other parts that can help you solve your problem. So I usually just spend a couple minutes like that, or again, this, or just like this, or you can even use something like a foam roller that I have right here. So the foam roller is sometimes it's a little bit too much compression for people, and so they do have to kind of push their body up a little bit to allow for the gentle aspect of it. Again, the point is not to mash the tissue. The point is to actually just to give a little bit of sensory input, and that could be in the form of percussion or a little bit of light touch and so on. You can probably technically use a feather or rub some dirt on it. Okay. Now, the thing about using a foam roller too hard is that actually you compress the nerve, and compression is not really tolerable for most people when they're having Meralgia Paresthetica. Now, the next thing you can do is you can use movement to actually slide or floss the nerve in a very general way. The way the body naturally works is that when you move an appendage, your nerve slides around amongst tissues, muscles, fascia, and so on. That's the way it normally operates. And so sometimes people with Meralgia Paresthetica, they haven't really moved their body too much because they're worried that certain movements will bother them, or movements do bother them. So sometimes really simple things, like just going through something like a bridge, can be really helpful just to slide, unslide, slide, unslide, slide, unslide. And so in this scenario, I really don't even care about how hard it is. It should be easy, in fact. All right, you can slide and unslide and just kind of just do a little bit of that. Now, if you get a bonus and you feel your butt cheeks working too, remember it is called a glute bridge, so that makes perfect sense. You're just going to allow the glutes to do their job. But the key is we're just greasing up the area. All right, motion is lotion, movement is medicine a lot of times for these types of scenarios. Now another thing you can do is you can do a kneeling version. Again, if this is my symptomatic hip here, and there's my meralgia right there, you can actually slide, unslide, slide, unslide. And again, I don't even care if I go through full range of motion, because sometimes people's condition is sticky enough where if you go through full range of motion, it actually creates more tension there that maybe it's not tolerant of at the moment. It will be one day when you start to work through all the nitty-gritty of this. And so just the mid-range, just going through a little bit of range. Now, if we were to make this into an overall change of habit, which is really the apex of changing people's symptoms, is this is actually no different than walking or running. So the body naturally allows the slide to happen when you're moving. So ideally, walking an hour a day is super helpful, if not too painful. Now, another thing we can try is nerve flossing or nerve tensioning. Everybody's condition is a little bit different, and this is the reason for an evaluation. I cannot stress that enough. If you're having nerve pain or nerve symptoms, you need to be evaluated, because a lot of times people get themselves into trouble when they misinterpret what they should be doing. But some things that we use for some people is sometimes we do flossing, sometimes we do tensioning. And the main reason why this is slightly different for each person is because some people respond to flossing, some people respond to tensioning. I know, it's super general, but essentially what makes one person feel better makes the other one feel worse. So whatever makes you feel better is usually the right thing to do, and then you do it a little bit more. Usually I have people do that throughout the day, about 10 reps every few hours. If they total 50 to 60, that's okay. That's usually a good sweet spot. Now, we've done a few things already to this point in series, and this may have to happen every day for a little bit in series versus just adding this last thing first. We added sensory input, which is just the percussion gun. We added a little bit of gentle movement through the area, which was the bridge, and then we used something a little bit more particular like flossing or tensioning. Again, which one you should use is up to your examination and your provider. Now, the next thing we like to do is loading. The reason why loading is important, even with body weight, is going to be because it helps out to get the musculature to link up together, which takes workload away from the area of compression in Meralgia Paresthetica. So there are endless ways to add load, and I know I've gotten a lot of comments over the years on our YouTube videos where people say, I can't do that one exercise, I can't even get to the floor. By the way, you can do these on your bed, you can do them standing, you can be creative, the mechanics are the same, all right? Now, one thing that I know that every person needs to be able to do at some point in their life is be able to get from the floor to up, okay? And so this is going to be with the assistance of, in this case, a foam roller. It doesn't need to be a foam roller. It can be a table, a bench, a couch, another person. It can be anything you want to be. It can be two hiking poles. It doesn't matter. We're trying to rise from the floor and kneel down. Now you can do this just once as a, whew, that was hard. And then take a break. Or you can do them for repeated reps, or you can add weight and get rid of the foam roller completely. You can add a weight to the front or a weight to the side. It's dependent upon what your physical abilities are, okay? Now, the way we would do this in coaches, if we use a foam roller, because I'm gonna go from the lowest level where people actually need a foam roller. We're actually gonna, in this case, we're gonna put the symptomatic side in the back. Remember how this stretch here helped floss a little bit? Well, a similar thing happens here. So now we're gonna actually try to get up, but not really use that back foot too much. We're gonna try to use our hand and our foot in the front. So it's gonna look like this, okay? From the side, it's gonna look like this. Now, you all probably know that I'm using a little bit of the back foot. That's okay. But also, when I'm up here, I'm so light where I don't need to use it a lot. Now, some of you may be saying, look, I can't get up on one leg. That's okay too. It's the intention. Can you lean your body weight into the front foot and try to get up using that foot? That's all we want. We don't care if you get up or down, it doesn't really matter. If you just get into this foot and push the floor really hard, you'll feel the same effect. After you do the one side, you would switch to the other. Each side you would do just enough to where you feel it like it was physically hard. For those of you who have things like heart conditions or you're deconditioned and so on, a lot of times we use a scenario we call the talk test. You need to be able to have a conversation while you're doing it, okay? But I know for a fact that a lot of people who are having problems getting on and off the floor, this is something that they're not going to want to do a lot of times. That's okay. It's okay to be worried about it, but this is something that if you get it back, it changes your quality of life significantly. So if you guys are looking for help, we have endless videos on YouTube, not only on this topic, but also many others surrounding the hip, the lower abdominal area, disc degeneration, disc herniations, knee conditions, headaches, and so on. We have endless ones. We also have a podcast called Restoring Human Movement where we cover all these at further length because YouTube videos aren't always intended to be super long. And if you ever want help from us, we have virtual and in-person services. You can find our link in the description below. Take care.